Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Eczema Warrior podcast. We are doing another episode about mindset today. Mindset is a topic that it's been coming up quite a bit in all of my client calls and just getting a lot of questions about wanting more mindset tips, mindset support. And so in today's episode, I actually want to dive into how to manifest by the power of deciding. A little bit of a backstory as to why I'm inspired to talk about this topic is recently I lost my debit card. I left my debit card in an ATM machine here in Thailand. And when I had realized that my card was missing, it was already like 2 hours that I noticed that. I went straight back to the ATM and the card was gone. And I did all the research. I went down the rabbit hole of like reading on Reddit what people did. Everyone was saying, yeah, your card is gone. And I was literally panicking because it's my only card, and this is probably a rookie mistake, that I used when I traveled to take out cash from the ATM, depending on which country I'm in. And so without having this card, I'm like, well, how am I gonna get cash? It was a whole thing that took a couple days to figure out who do I reach out to? I don't speak Thai. Is there anybody that can help me get my card back? I did everything I could. I asked people around the ATM machine if they saw my card. I asked the shops around. Nobody saw it. I had to call the bank. The bank said there's no guarantee that I'll get my card back, but they'll try their best by opening up the machine because there's a possibility that the card got sucked into the machine. Anyways, it was hectic, okay, in those 2 days where I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have another 2 months here in Asia. I'm getting into my own head. I'm freaking out. I'm overthinking. Then I realized it's out of my control now. I've done everything I could to reach out to the bank, to ask people if they've seen a debit card. I made sure that no one's using my card in case it was stolen. And I just decided that my card is going to return to me and there's nothing else more I need to do. I've already done enough. I decided that that card was going to be back in my hands again, back into my wallet, and I decided that everything was going to work out. And long and behold, 2 days later, the bank called me and said, yep, we found your card. Come and pick it up. Just bring your passport. It happened. And I was like, holy shit, because I literally did not think I was going to get my card back. I thought I was fucked. But I decided. And that is a way of manifesting the things that you want by deciding that's going to happen. And, some people might say, oh, that's a coincidence. You just got lucky or, whatever. That has nothing to do with manifestation. But this is not the only time where I decided that things were going to happen for me. There's a lot of things that happened in the past few months that kind of just fell into my lap. And it's so wild how much the universe supports you more than you think, whether it's the universe and higher power, spirit, God, whatever it is on your side and helping you even when you least feel like it. But literally things were falling into my lap. I'm meeting people that I never thought I would meet that's helping me in my business or giving me opportunities. And I remember a few months ago when I felt so unsure if the things that I was doing in terms of my business was moving me forward, but I started to see little hints here and there. They're not like obvious hints or obvious results that, yes, Julie, you're on the right track for sure. But like little things where I would just to show you as an example, I've been really trying to collaborate with other practitioners, especially medical doctors, physicians, and I started to like meet them and not even just meet them at like conferences that I'm going to, but them genuinely wanting to collaborate with me without me having to market myself. And I'm someone who, as being a content creator and being on social media, part of business is marketing. And I didn't have to really do that with the doctors. Like they came to me and they were so interested in learning about my practice and they want to refer their patients to me. And there's another time where I attended one of my best friend's launch party for her clinical practice as a therapist. She held this event at a pub and I'm just there obviously to support her. I'm not there for any other reason because the pub wasn't a private event. There were other people there. There happened to be a psychologist that was just having a beer at the bar. He was interested in seeing my friend's launch party and was curious what was happening. Anyways, we ended up connecting. He's really interested about me being a dietitian, and we chit-chatted, and in the end he was like, why don't you come over to my clinic and let me show you around? I'm really interested in setting up a workshop where you could speak. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, just meeting someone for the very first time and them inviting you to come speak. And this is not the only thing, okay? There's so many other events that happened where like people are just asking me to come to their clinic. These are just random people. These are professionals. These are doctors and dental hygienists. And I'm just like, wow, I literally made the decision a few months ago that I am going to connect with the right people. The right people are going to find me. I'm going to have amazing collaborations. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I know it's just going to happen. And it's literally been happening. So I wanted to share that to kind of preface this episode, because I don't want it to make it sound like, oh, it's just woo-woo, you just decide what's going to happen. But there's actually science behind all of this. When you decide something's going to happen for you, it's going to happen. And we just have to strategically do it. And these are just my own personal examples over the past few months where I just decided something's going to happen, and it's literally been happening. And I want to share with you the exact steps to manifesting what you want by deciding. So this is a perfect transition into the power of deciding when it comes to manifesting whatever you desire. Now, chances are, if you're listening to this episode or you follow the podcast, is you really want to heal. Your goal, your desire, your wish is to be able to be free of symptoms. Now, when it comes to deciding what you want to happen, it's not just wishful thinking. We're not just wishing for things to happen, because when you always wish for something to happen, you're always wishing. You're wishing and wanting, but it always feels like it's never getting close to you, or the results never coming to you, right? Wishing, wishing, wishing. You're wishing, so you're hoping for something to happen, but it's not necessarily going to happen. But when it comes to deciding, you are 110, 15, 20, 30, 1,000% certain that what you are desiring is happening. You're certain, okay? There's no doubt. It's both a neurological process in the brain, which we'll talk about, but it's also an energetic process as well. And both of this, the neurological and the energetic, changes how your brain functions and how your body actually physically responds. And that's the power of manifestation, right? It's not just about wishful thinking. It's creating that emotion, that physical chemical change in your body and in your brain that allows for those manifestations to come true. Now, there's something called the Reticular Activating System, or RAS. Think of RAS as your brain's filter. The RAS decides what gets through into your brain and into your awareness based on what it thinks it's important. This is why when we take in information, we only remember some of it, but not always all of it, because of the RAS. It focuses on the things that you think are important. So when you make the decision that I'm going to heal my skin, not I want to heal my skin, because wanting attracts more wanting. You want something, but you won't have it. But if you decide that you already have it, that's a whole different neurological process and energetic process as well. When you decide that your skin is going to heal, that your gut symptoms are going to improve, that your weight's going to come off, your RAS starts to look for everything to support that goal. The tools, the resources, the conversations, the subtle signs and signals indicating that you're getting towards that desired goal. A good analogy of this is, think of the Instagram algorithm. When you start to engage in certain posts or reels, you start commenting or liking, it's going to show you more of that same sort of content in your algorithm. Your RAS is the same thing, meaning if you focus on a certain goal, if you focus on a certain thing, it's going to bring more of that to you, or it's going to start showing more of it. Now, this is when it becomes tricky, because if you're someone who always focuses on the issue, focuses on the problem, focuses on the flares and the symptoms, what do you think your brain is going to show you more of? The symptoms, right? Versus if you trained your brain to start seeing the things that are working and to start seeing that the goal is really close, or you're almost there, even if you don't really feel like it, but you're doing your best to bring that into your awareness, then it's going to show you more of that, right? More healing, less flares, less itching, clearer skin, slowly, right? This isn't about night and day. It's going to take time, but your brain is going to start to filter that and start bringing those desired outcomes towards you. The other nuance with this is when we do focus on the goal, a lot of people end up hyper focusing on the goal, obsessing about the goal, right? They only care about the end goal. And this is a nuance because while it's important to set clear intention, you don't want to overdo it to the point where you have obsession over the goal. That's going to backfire because then you're controlling, right? You're wanting this result so bad that you're just focusing on that. You're forgetting about the little wins that lead you to the end goal. So we do have to find that balance, right? We don't want to focus too much on the end goal. We also don't want to not focus on it. This is why deciding is very important, because when you decide that healing is going to happen, you're going to start to notice naturally that you don't need to focus on the goal anymore because you know it's going to happen. You don't control the when, you don't control the how. You leave it up to the universe to do it for you. You know you're doing enough. There's nothing more you need to do. That is part of deciding. And the more that you mentally rehearse it, okay, I'm deciding it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It already is. It's happening right now. And the more small, consistent habits and actions that you take every day, whether it's drinking water, doing your mindfulness practice, eating whole foods, whatever that looks like for you, and you know that's going to add up to your end goal, then you don't need to focus so much on the end goal because you know what you're doing right now is getting you there. Oh my gosh, guys, I literally thought that I lost my entire recording. The app Descript that I use for podcast recording randomly shut down and I could not find the file. And I was like, shit, I just lost everything. Fuck it. I'm just going to go to the gym, which is why I just changed my top. But now that I found my file, might as well keep the momentum going and continuing. I mean, not that you even noticed that I stopped the recording and recorded again, except maybe my top is now black instead of white, and maybe the camera has kind of shifted a little bit. But anyways, thankfully we're back and we're going to continue from here. Okay, as I was saying about the power of deciding and taking the daily actions, when you decide, you know that result, that decision that you're making is going to eventually come. You're going to leave it up to the universe and just know that the actions that you're taking is eventually going to get you there. A common question that I get is, okay, I really want this goal to come. I really want my skin to heal and I really, really want to feel better. That's a difference between someone that doesn't get what they want versus someone that does, because the person that does, they don't want it. They decide it's already happening. That's a difference I want you to really think about, because if you use the language of wanting, I want my skin to heal, I want to feel better, I want to lose weight, wanting attracts wanting, wishing attracts wishing, wishing for more, wanting for more, but never actually getting it. Versus when you decide, it's the energy of already having it. When you're confident and you're certain, that is when you're going to actually get the result. But of course, when it comes to reality, sometimes we decide things that we want at a certain time. Let's say you decide that you're going to heal yourself within 6 months before your wedding, and it doesn't happen, or it doesn't show up the way that you want it to show up, because we can never put a deadline when it comes to healing, right? There is never a deadline because healing is always a journey. No one is always 100% doing amazing, perfect body, perfect skin. That doesn't exist. But deciding a result doesn't mean that you're forcing the outcome or that you're forcing a deadline. It's just about having direction and clarity. Now, if you don't end up achieving that goal within the time that you set yourself of achieving it, instead of being hard on yourself, you just want to reflect instead of judge, right? You want to think about and reflect on, okay, what progress did I make in the last 6 months? Can I count that as progress? Absolutely. Especially if you're doing the work, there's definitely going to be progress. What can I learn? What can I adjust? What can I do better at, right? Life is also just about lessons and learning and improving yourself and doing better. It's not always going to be linear ever when it comes to anything. And sometimes the result that you're getting in 3 months or 6 months is the progress, and it may not look like the end goal yet, but that's okay. Maybe one of the things you notice is that you're sleeping better or your digestion's better. Maybe you have better energy levels. This is why I always recommend to celebrate your wins outside of your end goal, right? If your end goal is clear skin, okay, what are some evidence that you're on your way to clear skin? Okay, your digestion matters, your sleep matters, your hydration matters, your energy levels matter. If you're looking to lose weight and you want to see that number come off the scale, okay, Sometimes weight loss isn't just about looking at the scale. It's also looking at other root causes. Are you holding on to inflammation that's showing up as weight? Has your inflammation improved? Has your digestion improved? Because that can tell us that you're on the right track, even though you're not exactly seeing it on the scale. So now that you have a better understanding the power of deciding and how the brain works when you decide, especially when it comes to the RAS, your reticular activating system, let's go into how to decide intentionally without force, without controlling the outcome, without controlling the when. First, it's very important to be specific as to what you want. The more specific you are, the more clear it is for your brain and for your body. The more clear, the stronger signals you're going to send to your brain. This is exactly what I want, and I'm deciding that it's going to happen. Then your brain's like, yeah, she decided. I'm going to go look for those things to help support that. Instead of just saying, I want my skin to be clear, or I want my gut to improve, that's quite vague, right? You want to probably say, I want to reduce my eczema flares in the next 6 months by focusing on sleep, stress, and my mindset. That's an example. I want to lose 6 pounds in the next 3 months by going for walks every single day for 20 minutes and focusing on protein every single meal. The more specific you are, the more likely you're actually going to take action, right? You do want to set a little bit of timeline, but be flexible with it and don't feel like you have to achieve that within that timeline. The purpose of setting a timeline just helps your brain focus, but I want to emphasize we don't want to over focus and obsess about the timeline of the when. I know a lot of people, even you guys listening, have a goal because you want to go travel, you have a wedding coming up, or you have an event coming up. Yes, keep that in mind that you do want to heal or at least improve by that time, but don't overthink it. Just let it happen naturally. The next thing I want you to do is once you are specific with your goal, you set a general timeline with flexibility, is I want you to commit to it emotionally. What I mean by this is I want you to visualize it, feel it, really embody what that feels like to have that goal. Manifestation and deciding is always about how you feel in your body. If you can feel that it's actually happening right at this very moment, that you see yourself living it, then that's how your subconscious responds to it. Your brain doesn't know the difference between what you're imagining and what's in your reality. So even if the reality is it's not happening yet, but you imagine it, you feel it, you visualize it, you think about it, you taste it, you smell it, you hear it, it's going to bring all of those manifestations, your goals, closer to you. And you're going to start to see it in your actual reality. Then the next thing I want you to do is I want you to release. Breathe it out. Let it flow. You're taking all the actions. You're doing all the things towards your goals, right? This is often the block when it comes to a lot of people. They're doing the things, they're doing the practices, but they're not releasing and they're controlling the how and the when they really shouldn't be. You just need to align your actions to your goals. That's it. Actions will always lead to goals. The only way that it won't lead to your goal is if you don't trust it and you don't believe it and you block it with your own mind and your own brain and your own thoughts. When you release control, that's when everything flows in. Homework for you guys is I want you guys to pick one thing you're going to decide on. And this can be your healing journey. It could be another goal, career goal, a newer goal that you want to achieve, whatever it is. Write down the outcome specific and the general timeline of when you want to see that to happen. Then I want you to sit with it, visualize it, meditate on it, and just feel into what that looks like to have that goal right now at this moment. And then choose an action every day that supports that goal. Then it's just repetition, right? Repeat, 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 repeat. And there's no doubt in mind that you're going to get everything that you want. I hope this episode helped you. I hope you go out there and start deciding that things are going to happen for you. Just like some of the examples I shared with you in the beginning of this episode of things are just falling into my lap. I'm not forcing it. I'm just allowing it to happen and deciding that it's going to happen and it's happening. And I want that the same for you as well. Enjoy the rest of your day and we will see you guys in the next episode.